This guy is a tough target in astrophotography. Many times have I tried it, and many times have I come up with pretty mediocre results, but after some good success on the planets with my new scope, I need a good challenge, so we're running it back. What makes the ISS so difficult is its speed. It rockets around the globe every hour and a half or so, which at low Earth orbit that's like 5 miles per second, which is insane. And that is far too fast for any regular computerized mounts to track, since those are primarily built to just compensate for Earth's rotation. So that leaves us with two primary options. You can either wait for a good solar or lunar transit, which quality ones are quite rare, or you can track it manually at dawn or dusk. And it has to be those times specifically because it needs to be night on the ground but day on the ISS so that you get that contrast and you're actually able to see the ISS and then follow it with your scope. But to complicate things, the technique of disengaging your mount's gears and then slewing on the mount, the technique that basically everybody uses and that I used last time too, that's not gonna fly because I just learned that the mount that I have now for this new scope, the gears do not disengage, so I need something new and maybe something a little bit crazy. You see, the thing is, some other people have actually managed to get the ISS reasonably well with just a handheld DSLR and a lens. So now it's time that I take this to the next level. I become the mount, and this is my lens. But first, I need to figure out some settings for the camera, so I looked around online. There's some pretty helpful materials. Dylan O'Donnell's got a great video. There's a bunch of other fantastic ones. Good resources all around. The old stuff too that I had from my previous attempts, I can use as a baseline, but since the optical train is different this time, I need to have some settings specific for this one that are going to work the best. Speaking of which, I am going to be using a Barlow to try and get optimal resolution, so we're actually going to have a focal length of about 3 meters, which is kind of insane. But secondly, we need to find a good path, so I went to NASA's Spot the Station website, which is hands down the best resource for this. It's just fantastic. You put your location in and it'll give you every dawn and dusk pass, where it's going to start, where it's going to end, the zenith. Perfect. It's just fantastic resource here. And it wasn't long until a 60-degree pass arrived. So I got out nice and early to prep and practice. My heart races every time I try one of these. But I've prepared a lot for this, and I'm confident that we're gonna get something good here, so let's do it. But this wasn't a complete waste, because it actually told me I could indeed get the ISS in frame at that focal length using that tracking method. So I went back to Spot the Station and started looking for another illuminated pass. And lo and behold, in like 2 weeks or so, there was another really good one. This one actually going all the way up to 80 degrees above the horizon, and then disappearing shortly after reaching the zenith, which in that case it was actually dropping into the Earth's shadow and no longer being illuminated, making it basically impossible to hand track. So I got out there with plenty of time to make sure my scope was acclimated, and thankfully not get destroyed by mosquitoes this time. But we had learned from the first go, and we were gonna get it this time. I was sure of it. Not bad at all. We've actually got surprisingly good detail on that central truss structure and everything there, so there's not too much motion blur, and the exposure time and tracking had to have been working at least adequately. And then for the ISO, we still have the solar panels resolved, so that was doing pretty good too. And if you look at all of our frames, you can see when the ISS starts falling into the Earth's shadow. And on that very last red one, that's gotta be sunset on the ISS. It's gotta be that stage where all the other light's getting scattered, but the red wavelengths are refracting just enough to still hit the station. Very similar to a lunar eclipse, I would imagine. And if we grab one of our best frames and put it next to a close-up picture of the ISS, you can start to identify some of the segmentation in here. So that's the Japanese segment, the European segment, the American segments, and the Russian segments down there. And that little nub there at the bottom, I think is actually one of the docked spacecraft. So I pulled up one of NASA's websites for what's docked at the station, and there was indeed a spacecraft docked there when I took the picture. Progress 81, one of the cargo resupply missions. Needless to say, this exceeded all my expectations, and I really love it whenever you can record your data and then go back and then make some observations. It's great. It really is. So stay tuned, guys. I've got a little bit more planned. I actually went to Mars already, so I may or may not have a video on that, but thanks for coming with me on this venture. Don't do this at home. Don't do it, I swear. And thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.